Ramsdale's going to have to get used to being second fiddle with England unless something dramatic happens in the next few months. Now, the Tottenham striker, Richarlison, says he'll seek psychological help when he returns to England after the international break. He was pictured in tears after being subbed during Brazil's 5-1 win over Bolivia on Saturday. He said the reaction was down to getting things that were happening off the pitch out of my system. Well, Spurs play on Saturday, live on BBC Radio London at 3 o'clock against Sheffield United. Richarlison likely to be involved, perhaps not from the start. And what role will the Spurs fans play in an attempt perhaps to keep Richarlison's spirits up at the very least? Well, let's talk to Chris Cowlin from the Spurs Chat podcast, who joins me now. Chris, hello.
Hello, Nick. How are you?
Yeah, very good to speak to you. Last time I spoke to you, I think you were in Singapore. So September in this city is a slightly different kettle of fish. But I just wanted to speak to Spurs fans about Richarlison, because what do you think the Spurs fans' role is with Richarlison? Because he's clearly suffering on the pitch. He says he's suffering off the pitch as well. And these days, fans are actually quite often, especially Spurs fans recently, pretty aware that they can have a role to play with some of these players who do wear their hearts on their sleeve, and he really does.
Well, you can really tell from social media today that the fans are fully behind Richarlison, and I'm sure he will get a huge cheer at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Saturday. The fans are fully behind him. And of course, when a player wears your shirt, you want the best for them. You want it to work out for them. Richarlison, it's fair to say, since his big money move from Everton last summer, he's had a tough time. He's played under various different managers at Tottenham Hotspur. He's having a tough time off the pitch as well as on it at the moment. But I do think it's great that he's spoken out. In the world that we live in at the moment, everyone is told to speak about their problems, feelings, mental health. Mental health is such a big subject, especially for sports people, footballers. Richarlison will encourage many young fans to speak out if they need help in their lives. But I think Tottenham fans now really do need to get behind him. We all know as football fans what he can deliver on the pitch, and we just want the best for him, and we want to see it. He's got a huge opportunity now with Harry Kane left for Bayern Munich. He is Tottenham Hotspur's number 9. I think he does need to do a lot more on the pitch, but I do think that he does try very hard, perhaps sometimes too hard. And I've seen recently, certainly in the last couple of days, that the interim Brazil manager and some of his Brazilian teammates have just said, look, he needs to relax. He needs to, relax on the pitch, and the goals will come. He's had a tough time both internationally and for Tottenham, with not many goals being scored in recent times. But I'm sure it will happen. I'm sure if Ange Postecoglou was unhappy with his role within the Tottenham Hotspur team, he certainly wouldn't be in the starting 11. I think Ange Postecoglou is giving him a great opportunity, and I think that the fans are fully behind him, and I really do hope that it works out for him, and we see many goals scored in the Tottenham Hotspur shirt.
I wonder whether that goal against Fulham might have kind of settled things down a bit. But, there is this conundrum for Spurs about whether you play Heung-min Son through the middle. He played there against Burnley and scored a hat-trick. So it makes all the sense in the world, perhaps, for Ange Postecoglou to say, well, maybe we play you wide, or maybe you make an impact from the bench. But again, if you're trying to build someone's confidence up, that's not necessarily going to send confidence levels going through the roof. But then, of course, Postecoglou has responsibilities to the team in general. It's for him, and he's handled so many things very deftly so far. That's actually one of the really difficult things that he's got to deal with at the moment.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right, Nick. And Richarlison, when he signed for Spurs, I was very excited because I know that he can play on the left, he can play on the right, he can play through the middle. We know that he can score goals, we know that he can assist. As I said, he's had a difficult time at Spurs, but I think that a run of games in the Premier League in the next couple of weeks, next couple of months, he does need to build up his confidence. Certainly needs to sort out his, a few issues on and off the pitch, as he said. But he's coming back from international duty now. I'm sure that Ange Postecoglou is the type of manager that will put his arm around him, call him mate, and talk through his problems and work through them. But I'm sure that at the Spurs Stadium on Saturday, I'm sure that he will get a great reception. And you're absolutely right about Ange Postecoglou choosing the best possible 11. I think that it is Richarlison's responsibility now to really grab his opportunity And I think that it will just be such a great moment for him personally, for his teammates, for the manager, for everyone connected with the club, the fans certainly, to see him score a goal at home at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, because goals have been scarce since he's joined us. One Premier League goal so far, that was last season, 2 in the Champions League, and only 1 in the League Cup so far this season. But even if it was just a goal that someone shot and it deflected off him and went down as his goal, I think would just give him the world of confidence. And he just needs that assist, that goal. He needs a couple of great moments in a Spurs shirt in the very, very near future. But I wish him all of the very best. Whenever a player plays in the Tottenham shirt, I cheer for them and I want the best for them, and of course I want them to be successful.
And I suppose to a degree Spurs need him to be successful as well, don't they? Because there's no Kane. Brennan Johnson, I suppose, has come in as an extra forward player, but Tottenham's striking options, dare I say, are a little bit limited, and he costs an awful lot of money. He's clearly supremely talented. He has Premier League experience. Tottenham need him to provide firepower and leadership up there, given the options that are available. So it's a two-way street, isn't it? That the Spurs fans know that they need to play a role for the Tottenham team's good in general to make sure his spirits are as high as they can be.
Absolutely. And of course, we just signed Brennan Johnson as well, which is another option. But yeah, it's a huge opportunity for him to be a real star at a club like Spurs. But the one thing that I will add is that his comments today, it really shows that by him speaking out, he really does care. He wants to, be successful at the football club. He's not just another footballer that, just picking up the wage packet and going, oh, well, it's not working out. He wants it to work at Spurs. He's a very, very emotional footballer. Yes. You can tell exactly how he's feeling by his face, by his body language. Yeah. And I think that, by the fans getting behind him, he will feel that confidence and he will feel that, extra energy on the pitch with that support.
Now, when he came off against Manchester United, you could almost see the frustration sort of seeping off him because he was so irritated and, he's clearly not a great poker player. You know exactly what Richarlison is thinking at any given point. And Spurs fans do like that. They like to feel that they're... Well, I'm speaking for you here, Chris. I'm prepared to be corrected, but I get the feeling that Tottenham fans enjoy... Which is why I think Postecoglou's gone down so well. He's clearly a human being. And not all footballers are, as you alluded to in your previous answer, not all footballers come across as human beings these days. Exactly,
and I think that the support is massive for someone like him. He's very emotional, and he certainly feels it. And as I said before, he really does care. He wants to score. He wants to assist. He wants to be the star man. It is chance now for him to step up. He's got competition at the football club as well. And as you mentioned earlier, Heung-min Son, scoring a hat-trick at Burnley. He will want to be now put in those positions. He will want to score hat-tricks. He will want to be, scoring the goals for Spurs. So, it'll be interesting going forward. But as I said, I think that the support is absolutely key for someone like him. He does use social media a lot. Social media can be very damaging and have some negative effects sometimes, but I think that he ought to just stay off the likes of social media, concentrate, get his head down, sort his problems out off the pitch, and come to training, come back to Hotspur Way from the international duty at Brazil, and concentrate and fully focus on his career at Tottenham.
Great stuff, Chris. Thank you. When he scores his third against Sheffield United on Saturday, if I see you, we'll have a brief nod, won't we? And we'll say, there you are.
Absolutely.
All in the plan. Chris, great to talk to you. Thanks ever so much indeed. Chris Cowlin from the Spurs Chat podcast on the subject of Richarlison. Chances are he'll be involved on Saturday afternoon as Tottenham play Sheffield United. That one's live here on BBC Radio London. It is coming